Hey guys, if you're looking for a picking exercise that you can use to get your hands in sync, master rhythmic subdivision, and increase your overall top speed, I've got just the thing for you. Hey there kids, it's your good buddy, Uncle Ben. If you're looking to improve your overall shredding powers, I think one of the best things that anybody can do is to practice exercises and licks that feature speed bursts. Speed bursts are a great way to practice getting your toes into the waters of high tempos while also monitoring any tension that you might be gaining whenever you increase the speed and kick it back into fifth gear. Today's neoclassical style exercise is in the key of A minor and features a shifting subdivision from 16th notes to 16th note triplets, otherwise known as sextuplets. It's a great workout for your little finger. It's going to help you map out that scale pattern across the neck, and it's really going to help you reel in those rhythmic subdivisions and get to where you can easily shift from one feel to another. But before we get into it, let's hear it again at stepdad speed. As always, tabs for this lesson can be found over on my Instagram page at Ben Eller Guitars. Just search for hashtag Weekend Wankshop 269. Nice. Downloadable tabs, backing tracks, bonus lessons, and so much more are available to everybody who supports my channel over on my Patreon page, patreon.com/Ben Eller Guitars. This week, all of my patrons, even starting at the $1 a month level, are going to get access to a ton of extra bonus stuff to go along with this lesson. For starters, you're going to get access to the backing track that I made for this exercise at the original 120 BPM tempo, as well as the stepdad speed backing track, which is at 90 BPM, and even a super slow pep speed backing track at 60 BPM. I'll also be uploading a bonus video to go along with this and showing you guys how you can take this speed burst supreme exercise and take it through an entire scale pattern going up and down the fretboard. It's just what you need to transform yourself into the next Shreddy Krueger, so be sure to go over to that Patreon page today, start supporting my channel, and reaping the benefits. Thanks! So this exercise is focused on 3-note groupings in the A minor scale. It's all alternate picked, starting with the downstroke, and I recommend you practice this religiously with your metronome or the backing tracks. The first part of the exercise here is going to focus on these 3 notes on the G string. A, B, and C. That's frets 2, 4, and 5. What I want you to do is to ascend up those 3 notes 4 times in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to be playing those 12 notes in a row as 16th notes, so the time feel is going to feel like this. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. And then what we're going to do after that is to blast through 2 more repetitions of those notes as a 16th note triplet, or as it's sometimes called a sextuplet. That means you're cramming 6 notes into a single beat. A good way to think of sextuplets is to call them meedly-meedlies. Meedly, 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 widdly, 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 widdly. Whatever. So what you're going to end up with here is 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, meedly, meedly. You could also count that out as high tempo 8th notes switching to triplets like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and triplet, triplet. It's really all a matter of banana, if you ask me. The first part of that lick right there took place over an A minor kind of sound. And the collection of notes that we're playing right there are great because it starts off on the root note of that chord, A, and it ends on the minor third of that chord, the C note. The next section of the exercise here takes place over the next 3 notes in the scale, B, C, and D, also on the G string. This section takes place over a G chord, And it's great because we're hitting its third, fourth, and landing on its fifth every time we play through those 3 notes. Same deal as before, play through those 4 times in a row at 16th notes, and then 1 blast of sextuplets at the end. Next we switch to a C chord, and we're going to start playing the scale here from the C note. This time we're going to be focusing on these 3 notes, C, D, and E. And again, there's the root note of the C we're playing over, and here's the third of the C chord that we're playing over at that time. 1, 2, 3, 4, blast. At this point, the chord changes to F, so we're going to react accordingly and start playing the scale from the F note, the B string here on fret number 6. Let's play that sequence again, this time using the F, G, and A notes we can find on that string on fret 6, 8, and 10. Next, the chord goes to a D minor sound, and we're going to react accordingly here by moving the scale to the D note here, still on the B string. I'm going to be using D, E, and F like this. Next we go back to the G chord, and we're going to go back to the G string here on its B, C, and D notes like we played against it earlier. Then it goes back to A minor, so we're going to go back to where we started this exercise at A, B, and C on the G string. And then the chord progression dips into the harmonic minor scale and uses an E major chord. Now typically the A minor scale doesn't have the G sharp note in it that this E major chord does. So what we're going to do is modify our scale a little bit to suit this chord, and instead of using a G like the A minor scale usually has, we're going to use a G sharp note here, so that way we match the harmony of the chord. So the last sequence here is going to start off on G sharp. We're going to play A and B using the same 4 plus sextuplet feel that we have the whole exercise so far. And that's the entire thing. So we got A, B, C, B, C, D, C, D, E, F, G, A, D, E, F, B, C, D, A, B, C, G sharp, A, B. Something I want you to really concentrate on as you're playing this exercise is that every new grouping should start on a downstroke. Sometimes whenever we play those really fast sextuplets, it can be easy to lose track of our pick strokes and stuff, and you might find yourself starting the next sequence on like an upstroke or something like that. If that happens, that means that you have skipped a pick stroke or maybe added in an extra one or something like that. So be sure that every time you start one of the new groups of notes that it's always beginning on a downstroke. The thing that I want you to really concentrate on whenever you blast off into those sextuplets or really fast triplets is that you're not adding any tension into either hand whenever you start going fast. Make sure that you don't start gripping the pick tighter or like curling your fingers in more, or maybe start fretting harder or anything like that. Speed burst exercises are so great because you're constantly going back and forth between a more slow and relaxed feel then blasting off into hyperspeed for a second. Whenever we play fast, there are going to be slight changes that happen in our playing. Our pick strokes are going to get smaller and stuff like that, but you shouldn't be getting any more tense whenever you start playing fast. So use this exercise as a great way to monitor your level of tension in your body whenever you're going from more comfortable tempos and then blasting off into hyperspeed. One of the things that I really love about practicing exercises with speed bursts is that they can get you into tempos that otherwise you would have thought were impossible for you. For example, I've got my metronome here set at 140 BPM. If you're playing sextuplets at that tempo, 6 per beat at 140, that means that you're playing like 840 notes a minute if my homeschool math checks out, which is extremely fast. And the thing is if you try to practice exercises that are just non-stop sextuplets at that tempo, you might get scared off and think that that tempo is off limits to you. I can just barely hang on to it at that tempo, not for any like super prolonged amount of time. But that doesn't mean that I don't deserve a spot over there at the grown-ups table. What I mean by that is that I might not be able to play non-stop sextuplets at that tempo, but I can play some. I can play a little blast and stay on beat. And if I'm playing at that tempo, even if it is just for little bursts and I'm staying nice and relaxed, I'm still, you know, essentially gaining experience points playing at that tempo, if you want to put this into like RPG terms. It allows you to get a toe into the high tempo waters without convincing yourself that that speed is like off limits for you. But again, you have to be nice and relaxed whenever you do this stuff. If you practice this stuff when you're super tense, you know, then that's going to become a natural part of your technique, and you'll just always associate fast playing with this extra tension that you're building up. So don't do this stuff at tempos where you really start like, you know, gripping harder and tightening up your muscles and stuff like that, because that's going to build some really bad habits, and you don't want that. Even if it means starting with this exercise and taking it down to a really low speed, like, you know, 40 or 50 BPM, that's okay. If that's where you need to put the metronome in order to stay relaxed and in control, that's fine, because you're going to build great tension-free habits in your playing whenever you practice it that way. Another thing that I'll encourage you guys to do with this exercise is to take all of those 3-note groupings and practice them starting from the higher note instead of the lower note, like this. So you can see I took the A, B, C grouping that we started with, and instead of starting on the A and walking up to the C, I started on the C and walked down to A. Move up to the next grouping of B, C, D, and instead play D, C, B. C, D, E, but it's E, D, C instead. Then you're going to have A, G, F. F, E, D, D, C, B, back to C, B, A, and ending on B, A, G sharp. The mechanics of descending with the left hand are totally different than ascending, you know? Whenever you ascend, you can be a little bit sloppy, you know, because you can still be holding this note down and have it mashed when this one goes down, and that's fine. It doesn't impede that note from being heard or anything, right? But whenever you descend, those fingers have to clear out of the way before the next note can be heard, you know? So there you go, guys. A great exercise that you can use to melodically take your speed and synchronization skills to the next level. Just be sure to take it slow and steady and only play those 16th note triplets at speeds where you can stay comfortable and relaxed. If you're looking for more exercises like this one featuring some speed bursts, I recommend that you check out Weekend Wankshop 230. Features another really great exercise that you can use to monitor the tension that you're holding in your arms and increase your relaxation while shredding. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel for new content coming at you every single week. Be sure to ring the bell for notifications every time I upload a new slice of fried gold. If you like this video and want to say thanks by supporting my channel, be sure to check out that Patreon page over at patreon.com/Ben Eller Guitars. Well guys, it's been fun as always, but there's cold beers that need drinking and you need to practice. So get away from the computer, grab your guitar, and get to work. Less clicking, more picking. If you're looking for a great picking exercise to warm up, master use of your... Quiet on the set, Zora! God damn.